I played Arknights Endfield for over 60 hours now in the last 7 days already. It's been 7 days, damn. And yeah, today I want to share my thoughts and impressions about the game. But before we do that, I kinda want to make myself more comfortable. So let's just do that. So Arknights Endfield, a Gacha RPG game that has been announced almost 3 years ago. The first teaser came out in around 2023. It still doesn't have a release date, but it's coming out in a few months. Precisely early 2026, so I think we can expect like an announcement this month. First and foremost, I want to talk about this game's like feeling, optimization, and just game engine, because my god, is this game really well optimized. My system that I used is 32 gigabytes of RAM, 3060 RTX, and a Ryzen 5900X that came out in like 2020. So you could say that my system is kind of like an entry-level mid-system now with all the stuff that I have. But also keep in mind that I played this game, I streamed this game to YouTube and Twitch, I recorded on the side in 2K, and I'm running double 1440p monitors. This game didn't stutter, didn't lag, didn't do anything, and it was a consistent 60 FPS. Now, the problem a little bit is that the game is hard locked to 60 FPS, and yeah, we kinda want 120 FPS. Yo, Hypergriff, if you are listening, 120 FPS please. But one big thing as I played this game is, it was 60 FPS, but it didn't feel like other games that run at 60 FPS. Because it had a consistent FPS and it never stuttered, never dropped, never nothing. No matter how much effects were on screen, I never experienced any bugs, anything. Like, this game is polished to the brim. I said even back in like CBT1 that the game was ready for release, and then we got like edge-fielded and tomorrow-fielded throughout this whole 2025 year. But honestly speaking, now that I have experienced like CBT2, they did a really good job. They did like wizardry on this game. We also have like multiple Japanese people or other content creators on Twitter especially showcasing that this game runs like perfectly medium graphics on iPhone 11 Pro. We also have a lot of people like going all the way to a 1050 and showcasing how well this game runs. And I've even seen some videos that people are using a 9070 and it's running like Endfield on 30 plus FPS, no problem. We live at a time that, you know, we are paying premium price for games that are costing $100 now. And you buy the game and the game is not running on your PlayStation 5, the game is not barely running on your PC, the games are crashing, freezing, stuttering, it's running not perfect, it's like leaking memory, it's like really bad. So hats to you, Hypergriff, because you really did magic on this game. Especially since they are running this game on a specially customized in-studio Unity. So yeah, this is the same engine that, you know, Honkai Star Rail is running on, the same engine that Genshin is running on. But Genshin and Honkai Star Rail kind of have their own Unity engine, and yeah, Hypergriff really did an amazing thing with this game. Like, hats off to you, like really well. Now I want to talk a little bit about world exploration, because it was one of the most satisfying things in Endfield, and it still is as I play the beta. First, let me just say how full of life and how visually stunning these maps are. From the visual aspect to like different soundtracks that completely set the tone while you are doing exploration. The maps in Endfield are vast and massive, to the point that you kind of think this game is open world, but it's not. It's more of a JRPG style game where it's like big zones that are connected to each other. So the exploration in Endfield is completely grounded. There is no climbing or flying, and because of that, it feels more satisfying and immersive. And it gives the developers the ability to make multiple levels of like zones and how they craft them with secrets and everything, right? So since there is no climbing and flying, you overcome these obstacles by producing zip lines if you want to cross the valley, providing electricity with like power lines across the whole map to activate different jump pads, to completely like open locked doors, to open shortcuts that were kind of close to you, and to set up connection for you to get like various resources. You can build like mining rigs that mine the resources and go into your factory that you are gonna later on use. You can even make battle towers around the map that attack different enemies that spawn on the map. So each and every zone is filled with like vast amounts of secrets, lore books, lore recordings, hidden objects, destructible walls, hidden walls, invisible walls, and different types of like jump puzzles. But the main thing is that you, as a player, are interacting with this map, and you are building it to your own desire. Everything you do on the map and how you approach exploring is kinda tied to the factory. You need explosives to find and open a secret passage into a secret cave. Just go to the factory and craft those explosives. Do you need to cross the valley? Craft ziplines and place ziplines around the map to make your traversal around the map easier. And also, while exploring, you can also come across different ziplines that were not made by you, but by a different player from their own world. And you can also come across messages left by other players that will sometimes navigate you through secrets, or just straight up troll you, and you can interact with them. You can see by which player it was built, and you can leave a like if you want. Or you can straight up delete it from your own world if you don't want it there. But this exact system is a system taken from games like Death Stranding and Dark Souls messaging system, and it creates and makes the zones you explore even more alive because it gives you a way to interact with other players. Like, it gives us a way to interact as a whole, as a community. And it makes just like going around this world, it just makes it so much more fun. So even after like 60 hours, I have to say I barely explored maybe 20 to 30% of all the zones, because there is so much content in this game. And you will hear me throughout this whole video how much of content there actually is. There is so much to do. It is crazy. Now let's talk a little bit about the story. I will keep it completely spoiler free, so you don't need to worry about that. But the story is honestly pretty good. You just need to power through the MC power glazing and how you are the greatest hero of history. A lot of glazing, because we are like the nuclear option to every solution in this game. Every time something happens, they wake us up. We are the nuclear option. That's pretty much how I see it. But yeah, the tutorial is really long, but the tutorials are kind of necessary because there are so many different systems and things to do in this game, like so many different mechanics that are constantly like getting introduced and constantly getting shown in the game. So like the game is slowly trying to teach you all these mechanics, and I think like the tutorial does a really good job. Aside from that, like the presentation of the story is really high quality, with constant changes of different camera angles, animations, soundtracks and background music that completely change and set the tone and pacing of the story. Absolutely beautifully crafted in-game cinematics that flow really well. What I'm saying, there is no 20 minutes of dialogue accompanied by 3 different emotes, which is this, and yeah, I'm not gonna show more emotes because if there are more emotes, it's a Christmas miracle. And at the same time, there is no
hell no, man. What the fuck?
While playing the story, I personally never found myself being bored, since the pacing of the dialogue is good, and quests are constantly told through various unique animations and even custom mission debriefs that show you your next objective. You can think of this like old Metal Gear Solid games, like mission debriefs and everything. It shows you the next objective. Like, it is really visually pleasing and really immersive, for me personally. The story presentation picks up even more when we enter the second region of Wuling, and I am curious where we go from here once the game is out. Now, when it comes to the story, take this however you want, but this is from somebody that doesn't play these games for the story particularly, but I'm mainly here for the gameplay, since I see gacha stories just as a way to spice things up on the side. But yeah, I really enjoyed like the story of this game. It's like a lot of world building, but it's really moving slowly. But I think that's kind of the curse of every single gacha. But I'm not gonna lie when I say that the story and tutorials are going to hold your hand a lot for the first at least like 6 to 8 hours, because there are so many things that the game is trying to introduce you at a slow pace. And therefore, at the beginning of the game, you will feel like the story is really slowly progressing. Now, when it comes to gameplay and combat, you have your whole team of 4 characters on the field with you at all times, which is something that I really like in Endfield. So similar to games like Dragon's Dogma and Xenoblade Chronicles. They constantly interact with each other with different dialogues depending on your team and when you are in the story. They point to different things and different secrets across the map that you didn't maybe see. They help you pick up the items, and generally they are just there to make the game just feel really alive. Like, it's really alive because of this. You kind of don't feel lonely. It's like you have your whole goon squad with you and you are there to have fun. So having your whole team out with you is one of my favorite aspects when it comes to like Arknights Endfield. Now, when it comes to the combat, I will try to keep it short, sweet, and simple because I can really go in depth with this. But the characters all have elementals that react with each other and create crazy combos. Physical characters, however, have their own thing with stacking vulnerabilities and applying different CC states like knockdown and lift. You can also combine like the physical elements with the elemental elements and create even like crazier stuff. It all depends on how you approach the game. So there are character classes. Defenders can create shields, heal and protect. They are like tanks. You have supports that can heal, apply buffs or apply debuffs. You have vanguards that are proficient at SP recovery. You have your main DPS classes and stuff like that. And the main resource you use for all your skills is at the bottom of the screen, which is called SP. So that's why vanguards are really good, because they are proficient at SP recovery. Now, each and every character has its own attack pattern of basic attacks with different speeds. Heavy greatswords feel really heavy, meaty and impactful, while swords are light and fast. You can really feel like the impact of each strike or skill depending on the character that you are using. Everything flows and is really nice. You also have like combo skills that trigger off each other depending on different reactions, and you have your general ultimates. Each character feels really unique and different from each other and has its own thing going for them. 4 stars, 5 stars, 6 stars, they are all unique and useful in their own way. I think the most important thing in team building will definitely be the ability to trigger your combo skills between your characters. This is going to be the bread and butter of the combat system. When it comes to the enemy design, there is a lot of variance when it comes to the enemy design. From big humanoids with AoE flamethrowers to grappling giants that can one-shot your characters if you don't interrupt them and they, pick you up. And big and bulky beasts that move and attack like you are playing a Monster Hunter game. Compared to the last beta, this beta introduced a lot of different variants and enemy designs, and I'm really happy about this because now the game feels even more like full. The boss fights feel really good, really amazing, cinematic, and are really accompanied by really cool soundtracks that like further emphasize the fight with them. And let me be honest, you really need to have a good soundtrack when it comes to boss fights, and Arknights Endfield as a game really nailed it. When it comes to progression and gear of your characters, this is completely tied to your factory as well. So leveling up your characters comes from exploring and picking up rare resources on the map that spawn every few days, and the gear is crafted with materials that your factory produces. There is no RNG. If you have the materials, you craft the gear and it's done. The RNG and the endgame grind for like the min-max of your characters comes completely from essences that drop from elite fights around the map or from energy alluviums that are open world portals where you defend from multiple waves of enemies. So essences are pretty much like Monster Hunter jewels or gems, if you ever experienced that you just put into your weapons to make them stronger. So finding the perfect essence is going to be the min-max or like the end game grind that you want to like push through your character. There is also a lot of ways to control this RNG of essences in your favor by getting like various different tickets you get in the end game, and then you use those tickets to completely like get the exact same thing that you need when it comes to essences, like the exact stats that you need. The gear you craft can also be further pushed to the max by crafting similar gear pieces and using those pieces together with like special endgame material to RNG have a chance to upgrade them. At the end of the day, all these systems are made so that sooner or later, just by playing the game constantly, you will be able to fully max out your characters. But you don't need to fully max out your characters. This is like the prime min-max. So there will always be something to chase for. Oh yeah, when we are on the factory, blueprints. Blueprints are amazing, man. I love the blueprint system. It saved me so much hassle. So as you progress through the story and through the systems and just playing the game, you kind of just open up blueprints. So you do a tutorial, you learn how the tutorial and the factory works. You open up the blueprint, which you can just copy paste and slam down. These blueprints are not optimized, like they are the minimum of the minimum. But what I found myself a lot is I use them a lot to learn how stuff works, because also not only how it works, because sometimes I didn't want to do the factory because I was in the middle of like a story. But at the same time, at the back of my head, I was like, man, I'm playing the story and it's gonna take a while and I'm probably gonna play for the next 5, 6, 7 hours of this beta. But at the same time, I kind of want my factory to produce the stuff that I need later on for gear, right? Because I don't want to get like gimped or hard locked in a boss fight or something because I don't have gear. So sometimes, a lot of the times while I was in the middle of the story, I would just teleport back to the factory. I would open up the blueprint, use maybe 20 minutes or something, pop a blueprint, poof, poof, poof in the factory, press buttons to start producing that stuff, and I would be like, okay, see you later when I'm done with the story, right? So yeah. Which, like, blueprints open up that possibility that when you are immersed in the story or exploration or stuff like that, but you also kind of wanna produce stuff on the side because everything in this game is connected to the factory. You will be able to copy and paste other people's bases from internet, from Discord servers and stuff like that. So yeah, don't you worry about that. But I really implore you, if you like ever play Arknights Endfield, or for anyone watching this game, give the factory a try. Like, genuinely sit down, read a little bit, and give it an honest try. Because the factory is so much fun to do, you can get lost for hours in it. And I think a lot of people that think that they don't like factory stuff are gonna realize that they like optimizing, because as humans, it is our nature as human beings, it is to optimize stuff, because that's how technology progresses and works. But yeah, I found myself later on, as I said, I would put down blueprints, my factory would produce stuff, and then I would be like, I would have a peace of mind. But later on, as I did progress into more story, or sometimes I didn't want to play the story, or I didn't want to play the combat, I would go into the game and then sit down and be like, okay, I think today I'm gonna do factory today. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna do factory, and then I would do like 5 hours of factory ASMR pretty much. I would see how stuff works and I would optimize my factory to look better. Now, when it comes to like the dailies, as you level up your account, your stamina goes up. So at max level, will be 360. 360 stamina takes around like 2 days to completely fill up. But overall, I never found myself being capped with stamina, because it's really easy to use, it's really fast to use, and that's it. Like, the dailies can be done in 5 minutes, and you also have multiple objectives you can choose every day to complete. So there are like dailies where you can just log in, it says craft 1 item. You can craft whatever you want. Like, you can craft the easiest crafting potion ever, and you get like almost 30% of your dailies done. Now, when it comes to like the end game, there isn't that much of an end game right now. So we have this extraction Tarkov mode game where you go in, you collect and fight different enemies, you slowly unlock the map more and more and more as you play. It's a mode where you get in, get out, get in, get out. So you do things to further progress like the map, and that's pretty much it. As you collect more materials, you can upgrade your sanity in this mode. The sanity is like a meter, which allows you to stay longer and longer inside this mode. Personally, I have not progressed this thing at all. I have not even had the chance or time to do it, since there is so much more of other content to do, like from factory to collection to exploring to doing different zones, different this, different that. Brother, there is so much to do that I didn't even have the chance to like properly test out this game mode. But I will say that I have a feeling they will definitely implement more endgame modes post-release, and I would rather have something unique like this game mode than some arbitrary battle endgame mode with a timer slapped on it, where a lot of these games do it and they just call it a day and that's it. It just seems that Hypergriff, as a developer of Arknights Endfield, they are not afraid to trying new things out, and I am all for that. I would rather have like unique gameplay modes than, arbitrary boring modes that nobody cares about. Yo, Hypergriff, please make a good roguelike mode. Please, if you make a good roguelike mode, my life is yours. I would really love that. Thank you. You are the best. Alright, when it comes to the gacha aspect, honestly, I think the gacha system is really good. Like, there is a 50-50, yeah, but if you lose it, you have a one-time chance each banner of getting the character at 120 pulls. So the biggest thing I love about Endfield, and when it comes to the character gacha and the characters, is how each character's strength and gameplay mechanics are not locked behind multiple dupes of this character. So dupes in Endfield only provide small little buffs. They don't completely alter the way you approach and play your character. So if you only get one copy of the character, you pretty much have the essence of the full character. In a nutshell, as long as you don't pull impulsively, you are good as a free-to-play player, and light spenders can pretty much get everything they want. It's a system that kinda rewards patience. I do want to say that currently the currency in the beta is really lacking, but it's not something an event or two can't fix, which we currently don't even have in the beta. We don't have any events, so we will need to see if they are gonna test out events as this beta progresses. And just to finish this video off, I want to say that I thoroughly enjoyed Arknights Endfield for what it is now. This beta brought a lot of good improvements towards the game. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to the release already, man. I think we are all just hungry for this game to release so we can all play it, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm gonna continue playing Arknights Endfield, the beta. We are gonna test out more characters, more team comps, and specifically delve more into like the endgame or all the systems that the game has. Because honestly speaking, I'm only 60 hours into the game and I have a feeling I haven't even scrapped the surface. We just dove in a little bit. And yeah, if you want more Arknights Endfield content, feel free to subscribe to this channel, comment, like, and yeah, live streams on both YouTube and Twitch. Thank you all for watching, and as always, see you guys next time.